Hello and welcome to the Quality Time with Habib. I'm Habib and I'm going to be your quality guide today. Today with us is also Maciej Jarząb, the CEO of Braight, very bright future technology connected to finance. Maciej, could you tell us a little bit more? Why did you go to the financial markets at all? Was it your childhood dream to become a king of finance market, or is it something else?
It's a long story, firstly. Basically, from the very beginning of my professional career, I've been working in finance. I've started in the consulting industry, going through the investment banking, ending up at venture capital. So the capital markets were always close to me. And from very beginning, I've been thinking how I can change the market, how I can change the financial market, what I can do for them. Because as you know, as we all know, we are all part of big financial market environment. We all have bank accounts. We all do the payments. We all use debit and credit cards.
And it's all interconnected these days. You cannot think about the country that is not connected to the SWIFT, for example.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, we are all a part of that. So based on that, I've been thinking what I can do for the clients, for the final customers. Basically, that has started during my studies. Okay. When I've been thinking of what kind of problems do we have? I mean, my friends, students. And I've been thinking, okay, most of my friends have been dealing with the cash flow problems.
Or hangover.
Yeah, hangover too. After that. So, okay. so hangover and cash flow problems. So I've been thinking, okay, so what I can do for them. From the one side, they've been struggling with the lack of capital. Of course, after the party, after the hangover, of course. So I've been thinking, okay, what I can do for them. Basically, they do not have financial history. They do not have credit history. So they cannot be assessed by the banks. They cannot be assessed by the financial institutions.
Okay, because these days, the most important thing about financial institution is that they know you they know you from your history, right?
Yeah.
So if you never had a credit card, if you never had any credit, if you never paid anything through these financial institutions, you're like non-existing to them.
Yes, exactly. But they want to somehow onboard you. They want to somehow offer you new services, new products, cross-sell services, cross-sell products. And basically, without the credit history, without the financial history in the financial entity, you don't have an access to that. So based on that, we have started developing our own, let's say, tool engine, a predictive engine, together with my co-founder Marcin. We have started developing a tool which is so-called behavioral scoring.
Okay, sounds strange, dangerous,
yeah,
and something I wouldn't like.
Yeah. So maybe it's helping assessing the risk of the young and unbound people. So what we have started building, we have started, let's say, thinking how we can assess the people without the credit and financial history. So,
something that was impossible before,
yeah,
you wanted to make it possible.
Yeah, exactly. So our first thought was, okay, social media. Yeah, we are all active users.
We all do stupid stuff in social media.
Hard active users on the social media. So we have started with that. But unfortunately, after the huge issue with the Cambridge Analytica and the Facebook.
That was this point in history where it turns out that Facebook was gathering so much information that some company just basically diagnosed everyone and was able to predict what they will do, who they will mate with.
Yeah, exactly.
And we become really scared of
basically, during that time, Facebook has been giving the access to a lot of data about the individuals to almost everybody. That was the issue. After that, let's say event with Cambridge Analytica, they restricted an access to everybody. So basically, they did something opposite. So
So before it was here is our data,
Yeah.
please use it, and then
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
our
yeah,
data,
yeah,
please
it's
don't
not-
look at it.
It's not possible to use it anymore.
Okay.
So we have started thinking, okay, what else we can do?
So it was a great idea based on a supposition that Facebook will allow us to access data.
But horrible timing.
Okay.
1 year before, yeah, it would be possible, but at that time it was just not possible.
So how can you scare young people? How can you score young
Yeah.
people not using Facebook?
Yeah, so what we do in Braight, we are collecting right now more than 3,000 behavioral data points per individual user.
Oh, okay.
It's anything from geolocation, shopping intents, articles read, articles search, the whole internet activity which you leave online, which you leave available for all your mobile applications, for all your websites. Maybe you don't know that, but basically all the applications and all the websites collect data and sell it. So that's why you have to be you have to think about it all the time. You have to be safe online. So it's my first thought for today: be safe with your data.
So if they ask me for cookies, I tell cancel.
Yeah, but it's not the only way how they collect it. Basically,
So it's
right?
not cookies only.
No.
Cookies.
Cookies, what I'm telling my partners that cookies is past right now. We have new identifiers how we can identify the client. It has to be anonymous right now due to the GDPR rules, due to the European local rules. It's like almost impossible to do it only by cookies. It's still a small chance, but not in the whole European Union. But so basically, based on that, we are trying to collect as much data as possible about our clients. Why? Because we want to help them. So in order to build the scoring, we have to collect the data first. Yeah. So they have to agree. That's the first thing. First, always our final customers have to give us consent that we collect and analyze data on our clients' websites.
So I'll let you analyze my data, but in return, you give me some scoring.
Yes.
And so based on that, I can already take money?
It's a longer process. Basically, what we do, we give the recommendations to the banks and financial institutions. It's in the form of the scoring, so from 0 to 1, but with the evaluation and explanation. So why, in our opinion, you have like 0.7 as score? So we send them back to the banks and financial institutions, and they can use it, or they do not have to use it, basically. So it's their own choice in order to do it. But of course, with most of the cases, they pay us for that. So basically, that's why they use it. And we see the results, and we see how our work, how our hard work, how our technology changes the people's lives. After that,
you've told me just before we started the podcast that you actively work with a US market, which it seems that the problem is much bigger in US market for the young people to get the funding for anything.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the US market?
Yes. Basically, US market is huge for that. And not only US, to be honest, the whole LATAM, South America market, it's a huge place for us, because basically most of the young people do not have financial and credit history there, and they have to be a part. We all have to be a part of the financial world. We all have to set a bank account.
You have to start at some point, right?
Yeah, basically. And we help them with that. And also, very, very important point, so we also help the unbanked people, because unbanked people is a huge issue, especially in LATAM, in Brazil, in Mexico, in Argentina, because they just do not have a bank account, and they cannot open it without the data. And what we provide to the banking sector there, we provide them with the scoring, with the data about the users, so they can allow them to open a bank account, to set a bank account.
So they are now a trustworthy client.
Yes.
Because we can assess what they are, who they are, if we should connect with them as a bank.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Sometimes, basically, they do not have like the computers, but they have a smartphone. And based on the smartphone, based on the data that we collect about them, we allow them to be a part of the financial world, which is a win for them, win-win also for the financial institutions. So it's a win-win situation for all of us. So we help them with that, with the whole process, onboarding the new young clients, and then offering them new products.
It sounds too beautiful to be true. So to sum up, you found Braight how long ago?
So basically, long story short, firstly, my first company was ePure, and ePure built the Braight. To be honest, basically in ePure we have been developing our technology first on our own social lending platform. Then we decided, okay, that's enough for us. We did it. Now we want to expand as the technological company.
Okay.
So that's why we founded Braight. Braight is a global entity based in US with the European and LATAM entities inside.
So let me put the question other way. So how long did this journey started?
More than 3 years ago.
3 years ago, up till the moment where Braight is now providing actively with working solution. Yeah, that's important. To change the way that young people interact with a banking institution, basically allow them to that world of finance. Okay, great. So could you tell me, did you notice any change in banking sector for the last 3-5 years, let's say?
Huge change. Yeah, basically huge, especially in Europe.
In Europe, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Especially in the cooperation with the startups. 5 years ago, basically banks only told everybody that they want to cooperate with the startups. Right now, is like the real cooperation. So basically, we are approached by the banks in order to test it out.
Well, it sounds about right? And big corporation, they decided 3 years ago, now they implement it.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that's how it works. That's how it works. Basically, with the first clients, it took us 12 months to onboard them with the big financial institution. Right now, it's less. It's like even 2-3 months. For now, to start the POC period with them.
Okay, that's very quick, to be honest.
Yes.
In my experience, implementing software with corporation, it's a long and hard process.
Now it's faster.
Yeah,
maybe not with all the banks, but with the banks that are focusing on the innovation, on the innovation departments, that's much faster.
Okay. Can you name some big brands?
Unfortunately not.
We can imagine.
But big banks operating globally.
Okay. Good. So let's discuss a little bit more how the software changed the banking, because we are used to. Well, here in Poland, where we record this podcast, we are used to new idea of banking, because our banking system is firmly new. We just ended communism in '87, and then from there it was civilization, and we have one of the highest rates of contactless payments in the world, I think. So we are pretty ahead of the banking system. But for example, my brother was working in France for quite some time, and they still use the checkbooks, right?
Yeah, the same in US.
So can we see that the software is now actively changing the way we interact with these institutions?
Even not changing, revolutionizing the financial.
Okay. That's a big word.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's true. To be honest, basically, you have the whole innovation, digitalization departments in banks, because they are aware of that if they do not change, they disappear. Why? Because in the last 5 years, maybe 10 years, tens of neobanks came out. So they're only online. They are super easy to and transparent and intuitive.
Like Revolut.
Like Revolut, and we have a lot of more in Europe. And basically, banks just figured out that if they don't change, if they do not adapt to the users, to the young users, to the Gen Z users, they would just not survive at the end.
Okay, so they in fact are actually afraid that one day TikTok will allow contactless payments.
Yeah, basically the same thing is with the Apple. Apple is right now implementing buy now, pay later concept.
No, really?
Yeah. It's gonna change the
Okay.
whole financial environment
Yeah.
in the buy now pay later market. So yeah, right now
Okay.
it's happening. To be honest.
Okay, so big tech companies are firmly walking into the banking
Yeah,
industry because they notice that these kind of old companies, they are basically old.
yeah.
They are really standing out from the environment and the world we live in, which is
Yes.
very interactive, very interconnected,
Yes.
and it's online.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's why they have to adapt somehow. They have to offer the Gen Z, new people, new young people, something else, something different. What is better? What is faster, quicker, and so on and so on. So based on that, they even open up their own funds, VC funds that are accelerating the growth of the most promising fintechs
Okay.
in order to implement it into their own entity. So that's how the software changes, revolutionizes the financial world right now.
Okay, and what about, because it's quality time, so let's get to the quality. So I assume that right now young people will select a bank not based on some information they can find, but based on what? Quality of the app they use?
You have the whole all the rankings when
Yeah.
you compare the banking apps, and the intuitiveness of that, the simplicity, everything, the simplicity, everything that is associated with that, with the quality, at the end. Yeah, that's true. And what about the quality in financial world? That's a big word for that. Basically, if you want to be onboarded to the bank, you have to perform like I don't know how many tests, but tests, everything from the security test to the key functionality test and everything that's associated with the whole process. Because the banks and financial institutions have to be 100% sure that it's working. So that's why it's pretty tough to onboard, but then for the final customers, it's much easier because it has to work. It has to work. There's no other way around. You cannot like cheat on that.
Okay, so basically, the biggest problem here would be the way the transaction is handled. So you have to always get it right. So the APIs have to be working perfectly.
Yeah.
There has to be minimum probability of someone interacting with what's happening. So security, and is it partially because the idea of Swift is from before the internet? Is it because we are working with the system that inherently is outdated, or is it just because for the norms we have?
That's a tough question to answer. I believe that both of that. Firstly, due to the Swift and everything, that still most of the banks use outdated systems, outdated architecture. Of course, as I told you before, and told you here, that it has to be changed, and it has started to change. The bank has started to change of the infrastructure of the architecture. That's why you have the whole embedded banking. When you have the almost ready solution for the banks, the whole architecture, and the startups that are specializing in embedded banking. But from the other side, all the regulations, all the laws that are checked by the European Union, by the local regulators. Basically, you have to be 100% that is safe for the clients. Okay. So at the end, that it's working. So, for example, if you want to onboard our technology to the bank, we have to perform at least hundreds of thousands of transactions through our system to check if everything is in the right place, if it's working, if it's safe, if we send them back the right answer in the right form, in the right file. So basically, that's why we do always the proof of concept phase, which lasts at least 3 months, in order to check if it's working the right way. Because you have different procedures, you have different architecture, and you have to be just compliant with that.
Okay, so each time you connect with a bank, it's basically a new project for you.
Yes, right? Yes.
And what is the biggest quality risk you face as Braight? That's very interesting for me.
So basically, the quality of data. We, as I said before, we collect data, a lot of data. We are really doing our best to have the highest quality of data, which is possible right now. So that's why we have our own department that is only looking for the new sources of data, that is looking for the pure data that we can put into our analysis, that we can how we can perform the whole process. So that's the quality that is very important for us. To be honest, the quality of data is the key measure.
So
key
the
metric.
risk of quality corruption or
Yes.
corrupted data.
Yeah,
is
corrupted.
not-
Yeah,
okay.
not accurate data. Let's say that's why the purity without the trace on it. Because if you have trace on the data, on the raw data, it is almost impossible to provide it to our engine, because the results would not be true at the end. So that's why we have to always, when we talk with our vendors, our providers, we are talking with them about the quality of data, about that we want the raw data without the trace on it, without the analysis, because we want to firstly perform our own analysis in order to check the quality of data, and then we can decide if we need it, if it's possible to also add it to our analysis at the end.
Okay, so you basically have in Braight as a you're not financial institution. You're a software that provides solutions for financial sector, right?
Yes.
And within your company, you have your own quality metrics that you use to analyze the data.
Yeah.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more about that? Or
Unfortunately not. I cannot. But,
Okay.
but what I can say about this department, that basically it's very tough to analyze it in that form, because it's all secrets.
because we speak about big data, right?
Yes.
And you feed the data into your AI
Yes.
modules that will analyze
Yeah.
it and then generate some outcome which is already processed
Yeah.
to the extent that we are not understanding that. So basically, the only way to catch the bug is before you even start the whole process. Okay.
And it's all of course confidential for us, because it's our own know-how, how we do it, how we measure it. Of course, for our clients, we always try to show them key metrics of the quality of data. The quality of data, to be honest, is the first question with the banks. What's the quality of data? Okay, how you measure it? What are the key metrics? And everything is associated with that. So basically, we are really doing our best in order to have the highest quality of data, because without that, it's not possible to onboard new clients for us.
You make my heart warm with the hope for the better quality in the future. That sounds great, because as we know, the banking institutions are not of a best quality, or the software is not of a best quality, right?
That's true.
But you say we see the transformation, and we see based on data that young people are really interested in the quality solutions, in working apps, in the ease of use or easy use of solution,
Yes.
rather than a whole story about we are being the biggest corporation in the world.
Yes.
Okay, so let's now play a little game where you become a fairy and you have to see the future.
Yeah.
But let's speak about the future in 20 years. Now you have a company that's actively changing the banking sector, right? So you have some insight which way we're gonna go. But let's say how it's gonna look like, how the financial markets or the banking markets will look for a customer in 20 years, in your opinion.
So my prediction is that everything has to be possible with one touch in the mobile application or on the website, with one touch, no more.
Okay, one touch.
One touch, and all the processes have to be performed in the real time. Everything, because Gen Z and the new age. So basically, all the people between, I don't know, right now 10 till 25, they do not waste time in the banks. They do not wait for the answers. They do not wait for the results. They just want right now. And in the 20 years, it has to be much quicker with everything. So I believe that if you apply for the loan with one touch, you have the answer.
Okay,
and
there you go. In 20 years, one-touch banking.
Yeah.
I like the idea. I think I will register the domain.
Yeah. Basically, to be
one-touch banking.
Yeah. Basically, that's. I believe that it has to adapt this way, and the banking sector, especially banking for the individuals, for the customers, I even cannot predict how the even younger people would behave. But if you have let's say Gen Z people in this field, you have to be one touch. You have to offer them one touch, and anything from the testing till marketing, e-commerce, banking, telecommunication, everything has to be with one touch, because they do not want to wait. They just want to right now.
Okay, there you go. So just tell me, for the last question, I have this one. What is the biggest challenge right now for the company like Braight?
Oh, we see several challenges that that we face right now. Of course, I have to underline the economic downturn that we have right now.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem for the new technologies due to the fact that there is not so much capital right now on the market. It's shrinking. Of course, we have this advantage that we have already the traction, the revenue, so it's much easier. But for the new products, for the new ideas, it's going to be much harder to raise money.
So finally, when the banking corporations are ready to implement new things,
Yeah.
the venture capitals are dragging their money out of the startup.
Are backing up.
Okay.
That's what we see, and we see the same. Let's say the same thing in States. In South America, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere, basically due to the several reasons, war, COVID, and everything is shrinking. The capital markets sector is shrinking. That's the first one. The second one is lack of skilled and experienced people inside. Of course, that's
always the problem.
That's always the problem. That's why we are actively hiring people in Europe, in States, everywhere that we are active from the operational perspective. And the third one, of course, the third issue is the onboarding process. So as I told you before, the quality that we have to show. It takes time, and if it takes time, we don't. We have to adapt it. Yeah, right now it's not 12 months anymore, but basically, even if it's like 6 months with the big corporations, it's a waste of resources for us. It's a waste of people, because we have to put.
You cannot say that much.
Yeah.
We're running quality show.
Yeah.
Quality is never a waste of money.
It's not a waste.
But I understand. You have to put the initial sum, and it doesn't pay off really quickly. It's worth investing in quality, but in a long term.
And basically with the big corporations, we are very eager to show them quality, but it cannot look like that we show them quality for the 6 months without the result, because it's nothing. We can show them for 1-2 months, of course. That's enough to show them the quality, but of course big corporations have their own procedures that we have to follow, and we want to show them that it's possible to be a little bit quicker, because if you have an idea, an innovative idea in finance, it would kill you without the traction before. So that's why I believe that they want to follow this path. They want to do it quicker. Then to short the let's say the testing period to be 1-2 months. That's okay, but not like 12 months, because it's gonna kill you at the end.
Of course. So biggest challenges to sum up: money these days, of course. Then talent acquisition, of course. And then quality.
Quality.
As it usually goes, it's really hard to invest in quality because you don't see results right away, but it's always worth in the long term. As we could discuss with Maciej, thank you very much for visiting the show. I'm really looking forward to see Braight operating also in Polish market. You do EP right now, but hopefully we will see some big corporation joining us, like forces together with Braight.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for the time.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Hey, bye-bye. There was a quality time with Habib. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on the next episode.